Welcome into NFL Week 2. We had a great day yesterday in college football. Me and Ethan both were pretty profitable yesterday, so we're trying to continue that streak heading into today's NFL slate. A tricky slate. I know we did talk about some of these games, or actually all of these games over on our Intentional Lounging show on Better and Green. But basically, right now, we're just going to go through each game time slot by time slot, given our opinions, given our bets, if there are any, and just going from there. I know on Wednesday when we recorded our preview for this week, you had a pretty good feeling, Ethan, a little bit better feeling about this week than I did. So I'm interested to see if any of your opinions have changed or if there's any more bets that you like more than others when we talked on Wednesday. But really hoping for a good day and continuing a little bit of a hot streak for me. And again, Ethan, you did have a slightly profitable day yesterday. So hopefully we can continue to streak because we need it. But Ethan, welcome. How are you feeling about the slate and how was your day yesterday in college football?
Yeah, feeling good about today's slate. Pretty good. Have two bets locked in. Still considering, I feel like I have like 6 really strong leans, but probably not going to get there with most. So, yeah, we'll talk it over, kind of get a feel where your head's at. Hopefully I'll kind of figure out where I'm going to play and where I'm going to lay off. But decent day in college football yesterday. Only really had like 2 what I would call official plays. Went 1-1, lost Temple, won Miami, which I know was both you and my favorite bet. That was a no sweat, easy cover there. And then said on our live yesterday, I'd probably use the Georgia and Tennessee boosts that all the sports books were giving out just a hedge because I didn't have a great read in that game. Ended up hitting Georgia money line and Tennessee plus 4.5 with kind of that miracle overtime Georgia win there by 3. So that ended up getting me like 3 units in college football. So yeah, that lucked out there. Upset I didn't play Bama, but good day overall. And then yeah, ready for. I feel really good about the 2 bets I've locked in. Hopefully, can find one more to lock in as well, and hopefully continue doing well in the NFL.
Yeah, that sounds great. And again, you talked about Miami. It was our most confident play. I did make it my biggest wager as well. Nothing better. It's just the greatest feeling ever when what you think is going to happen happens exactly according to plan. I did get a little nervous with that, like, what was it, an hour and a half delay? I was like, good gravy. Like, this is what game was that? Or this is Cowboys game all over again. Yeah, but Miami was just clearly the better team. And, USF I still think solid, but they just they just ran out of gas. There's too many competitive games in a row for them to keep playing at that level. And they can do it once or twice, but they just can't keep that in. And it just feels good knowing that. I did just check my Twitter. I will post a recap of my picks, but just jotting it down right here, 6 for 8 yesterday on my Twitter picks,
Nice.
including a plus 210 Michigan team total. But again, don't listen to my Michigan bets. Those never hit, so I got lucky there. So 6 for 8, 6 out of 8. So I'm not bad. My 1 loss, 2 losses, Temple, bad loss. And then, good God, DJ Lagway, 5 picks yesterday. That guy freaking sucks. And Florida still almost covered. So
I didn't even see. I was out and about, and I didn't even I hardly saw that game. So I did not know Lagway. I saw the final. I knew they didn't cover, but I did not realize he threw 5 picks.
And when I say 5 picks, they were the worst 5 picks you've seen in your life. And I think like at least 4 of them were within LSU's 50. So they were going in to score. They still only lost by 10. God, it was anyways. Florida's done, Kansas State's done, South Carolina frauds. Let's go frickin' Vandy.
Notre Dame's done.
Have you seen the rest of their schedule?
Probably
Cakewalk.
Yeah.
They play no one. I think they play USC, who might be ranked at that time. I don't know, dude. Like, but they're going to be that team that's like, well, do we put them in at 11?
Right.
Anyways, it's Sunday. Let's talk Sunday football. Don't forget to lock your fantasy lineups as well. I completely forgot about Thursday. Completely blew my mind, and luckily didn't have anyone playing, so not going to make that mistake again. But let's go to it. I do have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 plays locked in. 6 today, 1 tomorrow. Tomorrow is my favorite bet of the weekend for NFL. But let's go to the 1 p.m. slate. I'm just going to go in order on pick it here. We have Rams at the Titans. I I am seeing Titans are a 5.5 point home dog over under 41.5. This is a game that kind of wasn't on my radar at all when we recorded on Thursday. I did have the Titans circled, and I have made the Titans a bet. I got them plus 6.5 last night. So I guess I'm just not sold on the Rams, and maybe I'm just going to believe in Cam Ward. I am honestly a little upset I bet this. I'm seeing a little money coming in on Tennessee. I am seeing some guys that I do follow over on Action who absolutely killed it yesterday, by the way. I did just pretty much copy all their picks, and they had a field day. Seeing a lot of guys on Action on Tennessee as well. But Tennessee, Rams, what do you got?
Yeah, I like Tennessee a lot. The reason I'm not playing this is because I kind of talked about I'm trying to stay away from like the really bad teams. Um, just because I don't know, like Tennessee, what do they win? Maybe 4 or 5 games this year. So, if I'm taking the points, I'm gonna think they have a shot to win outright. Do they? I mean, maybe, but yeah, I'm gonna try to stay away from just really bad teams every week. So I would put Tennessee down as a bottom 5 team right now. But yeah, I definitely lean Tennessee here. I don't think anyone wants to back Tennessee whatsoever. I think LA had like the fifth, or maybe not fifth, like seventh or eighth best Super Bowl odds entering the season. So, people tend to be high on them, but yeah, they didn't look great last week. Stafford's obviously banged up. He's one hit away from hitting the bench. They have the Eagles on deck who ended their season last year. Titans at home, cross country travel for LA. Yeah, I think Tennessee 5.5. Obviously, that's a line that you and I talk about pretty often. That's the only way I could look, but again, just trying to avoid playing some of the really bad teams. So basically, for that reason, I'm hanging off Tennessee, but I do think they cover.
Yeah. Again, the only reason I do have a big slate today because I did have a pretty big slate yesterday. But yeah, honestly, not a great game. Probably not a great game to watch either. So I completely agree. And we're going to talk about a couple bad teams. I'm just refusing to bet at least for a couple weeks. I cannot get back on doing what I was doing last year. So yeah, I like it. I do think if you do want some money involved in this game, I would probably lean on Tennessee would be the right side here. Our next game up, I think you have a pretty strong opinion on this game, so I'll send it to you first. I'm a little upset at the line that I'm seeing here. I'm seeing it. I'll say in a second, but we have Seattle at Pitt. I'm seeing that you can get a +4 out there on Seattle at -115 on Fanatics. I will send it to you first, but that is definitely intriguing to me. I'm seeing -3 on FanDuel for Pittsburgh at -120. But what do you got, Seattle and Pitt, the DK Metcalf revenge game?
Yeah, I am quickly heading over to Fanatics here. Okay, I'm seeing 3.5.
Okay. God damn.
Yeah, I've unfortunately already locked this in +3 -105, but it's very similar to last week with the Jets against Pittsburgh. I thought as long as I can get a field goal or better, I want it. I don't think Pittsburgh is going to blow them out or win by margin by any means. I do think Seattle actually wins the game outright. So yeah, I like Seattle plus the points definitely. I just think there's so much hype around Pittsburgh. I've been anti-Pittsburgh all offseason since they got Rodgers. They were lucky to win last week. They were the beneficiary of that fumbled kickoff that basically gave them 14 points in 40 seconds. They had to kick a 60-yard field goal just to get the win. And, Rodgers, the 4 touchdowns, that's all you hear about, the DK Metcalf revenge game. Just so much hype on Pittsburgh. I know they're one of the most public bet teams, if not the most public bet team of the week. I know sharps are on Seattle. And yeah, like I said, I earlier in the week locked in Seattle, so I'm only at +3, -105. But again, I think they went outright, so I'm okay as long as you get over the field goal. Playing Seattle here.
Yep, I'm right there with you. Same exact line, same exact team. I have Seattle at the +3. I think they win the game outright as well. I think Pittsburgh again looked great last week, but this is overreaction week in the NFL. We didn't know what to expect at Pittsburgh. Aaron Rodgers threw for 4 touchdowns. The line moves in Pittsburgh favor, probably rightfully so. But you just lost all value in Pittsburgh on this game. So I like Seattle. I think they have a really good shot at winning the game outright as well. I will just see a tweet about 30 minutes ago from our boy, either John or our other guy. But the five most public bet teams are the Bills. These are all in the spread: Bills, Cowboys, Eagles, Lions, and the Steelers, who we just talked about. So it is going to be a pretty public team. So I do like Seattle. I think they can win that game outright. Wow, Cowboys minus 5.5. That's crazy. That is the most bet team, by the way. Moving on to another game that I do have a bet in that I am seeing a lot of guys on it. I'm seeing a little bit of money on it. But we have the Bills at the Jets. The Jets are a 6.5 point home dog, over under 47.5. Bills off an emotional win, comeback win, crazy win against the Ravens. It did end up losing me and Ethan our bets that day. And the Jets coming off a game they probably should have won, but ultimately lost a really tight one to the Steelers. I mean, I'm just going to say I'm on the Jets. I got the Jets. Ooh, okay. I got the Jets plus 7.5. I must have taken an alternate line. But Jets plus 7.5. I'm seeing money on the Jets. Again, I'm seeing on action over here. Again, action. I try to follow like guys I like follow on Twitter, so they're kind of trusted and they seem to have a pretty good resume. But 15 people on Jets spread, one person on Bills spread. So pretty heavy consensus that the Jets spread is the play over on action. Then a little bit of money indication on Pickett on the Jets. So yeah, I have locked in New York there to cover. How about you?
Yeah, I'm on the Jets plus 7, minus 115, and I locked that in on Monday, I think. So, Jets, this was the game that jumped off the page. Somehow, some way, the Jets getting points have been my favorite play both weeks 1 and 2, which is kind of scary, but looked really good week 1. Should have won outright week 1. Um, they, all right. Yeah, they were at home last week. They get to stay home, so I haven't had to travel yet. Divisional opponent. And then, like you said, the Bills off that crazy comeback win, Sunday Night Football. So they've had just a bit of a shortened week anyway. Got to imagine they're feeling incredible about themselves. And they have Thursday night on deck against another divisional opponent in the Dolphins. Yeah, it's just a terrible spot here for Buffalo. The Jets are definitely underrated in my opinion this year. I really like Justin Fields. So yeah, I love the Jets plus 7. So the 6.5 that makes it really tough. But I think they have a shot to win outright. I think maybe Buffalo, wins by 3 or 4 points. So I think you're still good at the plus 6.5. I don't think it's going back to 7, but definitely glad I have the full touchdown there. Wish I had the 7.5 or 8.5 where it opened at on Sunday, but yeah, definitely like the Jets. That's my favorite play.
Let's go. Jets, Jets. Our boys playing at home against their old offensive coordinator, so a revenge game there. That is the Lions hosting the Bears. Lions are a 6 to a 6.5 point home favorite, over under 46.5. Like I said, this is one of the more publicly bet games with the public coming in on the Lions. I still think the Lions get it done. I think the Lions probably cover. I do have a couple bets on this game. Nothing on the spread. I might have the spread in a stupid parlay, but I love the Lions here. I just don't know if I'm just going to bet the spread outright. Like I said, I think maybe just as a fan, it's just fun to make a little same game parlay on your team. Lions money line. I mean, that's pretty easy. Gibbs and probably Monty combined, or each of them to score a touchdown, seems pretty easy. Obviously, the offense should run through Gibbs. There was no offense last week. I think they get it going again. And Monty, who's been at Detroit for a while, but does have some time at Chicago, so a little bit of a rivalry there. But yeah, I mean, I have a hard time arguing a Gibbs touchdown, a Monty touchdown, a Lions money line 3-leg parlay. That's kind of where I'm kind of going here. I don't feel confident enough just to lay it with Detroit on the spread outright. But I have a hard time seeing Chicago hanging in this game. Maybe a defensive touchdown for Detroit because their defense looked atrocious. I think the pass rush is going to be a lot better. Caleb Williams is already going to make mistakes, right? I know that. But the secondary for Detroit looked terrible last week, so maybe they start flying around. Maybe sprinkle a little defensive touchdown. I don't know. Again, it's my own team. I get crazy with my own team bets. But I have a hard time seeing Lions not covering this game.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. Like the Lions quite a bit. I think the line is gone. You could have gotten 3.5, 4.5 earlier in the week. So obviously a lot of money coming in on Detroit public and I believe Sharp as well. But yeah, I mean, I've kind of just let sharp and pro bettors talk me off of games just too many times. Feel like I haven't been using my own head. I almost let them do it on Green Bay on Thursday, but luckily I kind of held strong to what I thought was going to happen. And this just kind of feels the same where, I think the Lions are still, everyone's so down on the Lions after losing their coordinators. I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal when it's all said and done. Um, People are, for some reason, always somewhat high on the Bears entering the season, especially now with Ben Johnson, Caleb Williams, year two. Okay, the second half of that Monday night game was terrible.
Yeah.
That was probably the worst half of football in week one, in my opinion. Caleb was terrible. Ben Johnson couldn't get, he looked just astonished that his offense was that flat. It's like he had never seen that before in Detroit. And yeah, I think he couldn't even believe it. So yeah, I think, the Bears are still the Bears. The Lions are still the Lions. It's first home game. Crowd's going to be insane. Obviously, you got the Ben Johnson coming back to Detroit. That's what's being talked about, but I think it's more Detroit welcoming back Ben Johnson. Yeah, I think it's hard for me to see them losing this game. I don't think, there's so much urgency. You can't go 0-2. Well, everyone knows the stat of going 0-2 and your chance of making the playoffs is not good. And to start 0-2 in your own division, I mean, that's just even worse. So the urgency is there for the Lions, I think. They're just ultimately the far better team. Basically, just gave the full game breakdown. I did also do a solo game breakdown over on our YouTube channel of this game. So I guess for a little bit deeper dive, that is out as well. But yeah, I like the Lions to cover. Not a bet I'm going to make. I've missed the line.
Yeah.
I was really hoping the Bears would win on Monday night, and then I bet this would still be 3.5, 4.5. So disappointed that Vikings came back, but yeah, I think the Lions win by double digits.
Yeah, I'm there. Again, I'll probably make some stupid parlays, but I don't advise backing those. Those are just fun as a fan watching. Put $5 on it, maybe win 100. But I'm gonna keep this next one pretty short. The problem with this next one, and the problem with me saying I'm not gonna bet these terrible teams, is they're always so damn sharp every freaking week. And this is a mistake I made last week. These terrible teams, of course the public is going to be jumping on the better team. Of course the Dallas Cowboys are the most publicly bet team against the spread this week. Of course, because they're playing the New York Giants. But then why is a line moving in New York Giants' favor? That's where I got caught last year. So I'm going to keep this really short. Giants at the Cowboys. Cowboys are a 6.5 to a 5.5 point favorite. Not betting this game. I would lean Giants. I'm not putting my money anywhere close to this team for at least the next 6 weeks. So I'll keep that one relatively short.
Yeah, I'll stay the same. Giants is the only way I could play this game. And if you're in any survivor leagues, I would be very cautious playing the Cowboys.
Yep. Yeah.
Actually, I wouldn't play the Cowboys. I would go elsewhere.
Just go safe. Pick the Lions. I know you might want to save them for later, but just pick the Lions. It's fine. Cleveland, Baltimore. Talk about some big old spreads here. Baltimore is an 11.5 to a 12.5 point favorite at home, over under 45.5-ish. Cleveland should have won last week against Cincy. Baltimore lost in dramatic fashion against the Bills. The line is still 11.5 to 12.5. You did bring up a pretty good similarity last year about this Ravens team. I think it was, did they lose week one?
Lost week one to the Chiefs. Week one. Remember Likely's toe was on the out of bounds.
So also dramatic fashion.
Yes.
Came out as a massive favorite at home against the Raiders.
Yep.
Was that week 2?
Yep.
And lost that one outright.
Yep.
So it's the same situation. I think the only way to bet this is to take the Browns, but I don't know if I want to get there. So I'm ultimately going to stay off this game. I do like, I'll give you one touchdown prop. I do like Samson, the running back for the Browns, to score. Jerome Ford is no longer even in the mix. Samson to score is plus 225 as a starting running back to score. Is probably the best starting running back odds today. So give me that. But yeah, no bet in this game. I'd lead the Browns, but I don't feel like betting a 12.5 point spread.
Yeah, I'm the same. I like the Browns. I like the over, actually. Also, too, if you want a really safe survivor, it's probably Baltimore. But, you should probably save them, in my opinion. I would maybe look elsewhere there as well. But, yeah, I see this game like 31-20. So I think Ravens win fairly easily. I think Browns cover. I think it goes over. Over is probably my favorite way to look at it. Uh, yeah, I think the Browns put up points and the Ravens. That offense looked so good last week. I can't believe they lost that game. But yeah, Browns plus points over.
Yep.
Not betting it.
Like the overplay. If you are watching as a fantasy guy, I am starting Fannin, which is probably a mistake because he had a great week last week, which means Njoku's probably going to go off this week. But Ravens have a terrible secondary, and I don't think Bowers. I don't know Bowers. If Bowers is playing, I'm going to start Bowers, but I think he has a knee issue that I haven't looked into yet. But
I think Bowers might be playing. He was
okay,
a full participant yesterday, I think.
okay, I'm starting Bowers. Never mind.
I'm starting Njoku. I don't love it at all.
Okay, he's due
But
though.
it's him or Evan Ingram. Evan Ingram has the calf. I know how that shit works.
Yeah.
That's one route and out
Yep.
for Ingram. So I feel forced to play Njoku.
Yep. I like it. One of my favorite plays today. I don't. Let me check the money here. Okay, we have Injury Island, San Fran at the Saints. The Saints are a 3-point dog, over under 40.5. It's got to be my favorite money line out there, which is San Fran. I did lock them in just the money line. You could take a -3 if you want, but money line I'm seeing best odds are -148 on FanDuel. That's pretty damn good. But yeah, I mean, this is the injured player theory to a T. You got Mac Jones, you got Kittle out. Juwan Jennings is playing. Obviously, no Ayuk. It's just, and the Saints are so bad. And I know Mac Jones isn't good. I'm not going to say Mac Jones is good, but he does have experience being a starting quarterback in this league. So the line is such a discount for San Fran that it's too good to pass up. So I'm going to fall for it. I don't know if it's a trap or not. I don't really care. San Fran money line. I have just made it to win 1 unit, but I might double that to win 2 units on this play. I do have my Monday Night Football play, still my favorite play, but this is probably number 2.
Yeah, this is the one I haven't locked in, but I'm going to. And yeah, it looks like Saints are a little bit public. I think it was Fox tweeted that they were kind of a sharp play at one of the books as well. But again, I think Washington was sharp on Thursday night, and my whole thought process is going into the year, I was very high on Green Bay, down on Washington. Coming into this year, I'm pretty high on the Niners, obviously way down on the Saints. So I just think maybe the markets are down on the Niners more than I am. Because I mean, I felt like the line last week was super fishy. I absolutely love San Francisco right when I saw that line, and then I got thinking about it. I'm like, this is too weird. You have the divisional home dog in Seattle. Seattle probably should have won that game, so I guess that was lined correctly. But ultimately, San Fran does cover, and yeah, now Mac Jones is not really a drop off from Brock Purdy, in my opinion. They're very similar quarterbacks, system guys. They're playing with the same players, so I don't think it deserves this move. This is one very similar to last week, except now you're getting a really bad team against the Saints. I just think, people are going to feel silly when they took a stab on the Saints or left this game off and San Fran wins by 17 points. So, yeah, I'm going to play the money line as well. I don't want to mess with having to win by more than a field goal. -148, I think that's a great price on a team that I think probably wins their division, goes to the playoffs versus a team that likely has the first overall pick next year.
Yep. Yep.
I mean, don't overthink this one, I think.
Yeah, I think you're spot on. It's the Niners versus the Saints. Don't think about the starting quarterback. Purdy isn't great either. Purdy is 100% a system quarterback. So, I mean, Mac Jones is probably a downgrade from Purdy, but it's not like it's Joey Harrington and Lamar Jackson. It's they're on the same sort of. I mean,
Yeah.
we're not going to call it the same tier, but you know what I'm saying. Do you have a fan?
Style.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
Do you have a fantasy question / prop question here? I guess it's the same. If you had to pick a guy to score or a guy to start in fantasy between Ricky and Juwan, I know you like Ricky quite a bit, but is Juwan an easier target for Mac? Just throw it up to him, or is it Ricky doing the slants and the outs and the screens?
Yeah.
I want to take a touchdown score on one of those because I think the odds are too good. And I have both of those guys on the same fantasy team, and I know whatever one I'm going to pick is going to be wrong. Right now I have Ricky, I'm leaning Ricky, but Juwan just got upgraded to fully healthy, so he's not questionable anymore. I just don't like. Does Mac? I don't even Mac at New England had no wide receivers. Mac at Jags had little guys. Maybe it's the little guys.
Yeah, I think I lean Ricky. Um, yeah, I actually wasn't huge on Ricky last year, but he looked really good last week. And yeah, I'm always just nervous with those guys like Jawan, who always seems to have some injury designation, like
Yeah.
one hit over the middle and he might be done. So yeah, I'd probably go Pearsall. I mean, that dude got shot and still played, so he probably ain't going out.
You heard it here first. Juwan Jennings 3 touchdowns. Um, God, I'm gonna send this next game to you because this is a team I refuse to bet, which is making me lean the other side, but it's just a bad strategy. Fishy line, fishy game. Patriots at Dolphins. Dolphins are a 1.5 to a 2.5 point favorite. Over under 43.5. What do you got?
I'm not betting bad teams, but Dolphins. Dolphins money line is the only way I could play it. But I'll just bring this up. I'm just looking at one book, so it could be different. Minus 144 Dolphins money line. You're telling me you'd rather take a 144 Dolphins money line than a 148 San Fran money line against the Saints? Crazy. But yeah, I mean, my whole thought process in this game is nobody is going to want to play the Dolphins. No public better is playing the Dolphins this week. So, and them as a favorite, New England looked like poo poo last week. So I would lean Dolphins, but again, I'm not trying to jump in on bad teams and hope they look decent.
Yeah, I lean the Pats just because I hate the Dolphins, and I was high on the Pats in the preseason, and now they are making me regret my words. But yeah, not a good enough reasoning for me to bet that game. So that's good that it's a stay off game. Tricky game here. Jags at Bengals. Bengals 3.5 point favorite. Over under 48, 49.5. I believe I was on Cincy on our Wednesday. I'm still on Cincy, but it's not going to be a bet for me. I think Cincy wins. I think Cincy bounces back. But I actually don't believe that. Maybe they do. I wouldn't be surprised if they just shit the bed like they do for the last 15 games of their season. So, yeah, it's not going to be a bet for me. I think Cincy wins. I think Jamar Chase gets back on track, but I don't have enough confidence to make a bet on that thought. How about you?
Yeah, I'm the same way. I'm using this as my survivor, so that's the way I'm going to be rooting for the Bengals. But again, this just all comes down to narrative for me. Bengals struggle week 1 against the Browns. They have the week 1 and week 2 struggles every single year under Zach Taylor. The Jags had basically the most dominant win outside of the Colts last week. Everyone thinks the Jags are back because for some reason they do every single season. And yeah, you're getting the Bengals at home. I think the Bengals are by far the better team. Like you said, offense looked awful last week. I think they bounced back big. I just think they're ultimately the far better team here. But yeah, I'm not going to bet it just because maybe they are just that bad weeks 1 and 2 and early in the season every year. I feel like they've got to get that switched around. It's probably just a mindset thing. Like I just can't understand how, you're playing for Super Bowls, you're winning 7, 8, 9 straight games to end your season, but you just can't do it early. I just don't understand. So yeah, to me it's Bengals, but the only way I'm involved in that is in Survivor, and I don't
Go,
love it, but
yeah, go Bengals money line for Survivor.
yep.
Uh, this is not a team that's on my do not bet list yet, but they are one strike away. Carolina at Arizona. I want to take Carolina. I'm seeing the guys I follow on Carolina. Don't really know where the money's at. Looks like it's pretty even, but I think I'm just gonna pass. I think I'm just gonna lean at going right back to the bank with Tet McMillan touchdown. Bet it last week. Gonna bet it this week. Probably keep betting it until it hits. But I do like Tet to score. Fantasy wise, don't hate Chuba as a flex, maybe. Would like Tet as well as a wide receiver 2, possibly flex. But yeah, no bet in this game for me. I lean Carolina, but I don't I can see them winning this outright. I can see them losing like they did last week. I can't get a read on this team, so I'm going to stay away. I'm going to wait a couple weeks on Carolina to see what I'm getting. I want them to turn it around. I'm a Carolina supporter. I bet them way too much last year, so I'm a little scarred. But I'll watch this game a little bit and just see what I'm getting myself into with Carolina. But it's just, and I know nothing about Arizona. I mean, I thought they were going to be much better than they were last week. They didn't look great. So, yeah, no bet for me. I lean Carolina, but ultimately saying off touchdown.
Yeah, I like Carolina. Again, though, yeah, trying to stay away from the bad teams. They did look really bad last week. I expect them to bounce back. And kind of my main thing, too, is I just don't. I'm high on Arizona. I think Arizona has a nice year. I think they fight for that division with the Rams and San Fran, but I don't see them as a team that's going out and winning games by 10, 14, 17 points. I see all their wins being very close. Um, you know, having the other team with a chance to go win it, and maybe they come up defensively or they score late to win. That's kind of how I see the Cardinals this year. I don't see them as some offensive juggernaut. I think their offense is very good. I think their defense is pretty good, but not like Buffalo or Baltimore or anything to that nature. So I think 6.5 is just way too many to be giving Carolina here, especially again because like Miami, no one is going to want to back Carolina after their awful performance against Jacksonville. But again, that one had the long rain delay. I kind of give them a pass on that game. Um, but yeah, not in a rush to go back Carolina here, but it is maybe my strongest lean.
Ooh, okay. God damn it! Don't say that. Okay, interesting. I have no idea what to do this next game. Denver at Indy. Indy is looks like it moved a little bit. 1.5, 2.5 point dog at home. Yeah, they are sharp. They have guys backing them. I think that's a terrible mistake, and I personally like the Broncos, but just the amount of people and money coming in on the Colts is going to push me off it. God, that's scary. I know Denver didn't look great last week, but I think this is a huge overreaction to how well Indy looked last week, and I can't. Like, what would this spread be if Indy lost and Denver won by 14? Like, would this be a? I know it's at Indy, but it would at least be a maybe 5.5 point spread, 6.5, and now we're getting 1.5, 2. I don't know. I'm saying off it. I would lean Denver, but I don't think that's the sharp play, and I try to bet sharp as much as I can. So, uh Sutton touchdown. That's my guy.
Okay, like it. Same here though. I do like Denver a lot, but yeah, this is where I'm struggling because I feel like this is just another game where sharps are trying to be just like too sharp almost. Like I don't know. I feel like they're just looking at the Colts looked really good last week. Maybe the Colts are really good. Denver struggled, but ultimately, I think Denver's just by far the better team. Um, I guess my reason for staying off here is I do think Denver has had a public backing coming into the season. They did have high expectations. They're on the road. Maybe they're that team uh, that I expect Washington to be this year. Maybe they're that team as well that just kind of flounders this year, only has 7 wins, and Bo takes a step back. Um, so I guess for that reason, I'm going to stay away off Denver. But again, like I feel like this could be, in hindsight, looking back, Denver wins, 31-14. You're like, damn, that
Yeah.
was easy. But yeah, I just think, yeah, I'm going to stay away. It's just a little too much. If Broncos were at home laying that number, maybe. But yeah, we'll see. I think Denver wins, but I'm going to leave it alone.
Yeah, that's I think the best advice. Again, Sutton's my boy. I want him to have a hell of a season this year, so people can shut up about me keeping him. A fantastic game in my opinion, a Super Bowl rematch. A game I'm very interested to watch. Do have a bet on it. Eagles at the Chiefs. They're all over the place here. 1.5, 2 point dogs. This again, like I said, Super Bowl rematch where the Eagles destroyed them 40-22. Eagles won week 1 in a a game a little closer than what it should have been against the Cowboys, but they did get the win. And then the Chargers losing game one in Brazil to the, or sorry, Chiefs losing game one in Brazil to the Chargers. Seems clear as day to take Philly. Philly looked, I know they looked okay. They looked okay last week. Hurts looked great. They did play the Cowboys, but again, Philly just beat the Chiefs. Chiefs look like they're struggling. I think Worthy is still out. Um, Seems pretty damn obvious to take the Eagles, so I do have the Chiefs locked in at the +1.5. Kind of like it. Don't have a whole lot of confidence, but I like the betting aspect of it. So I think the Chiefs is the only right play here. And I did take a shot on. Probably should be a game I should just watch, but I'm gonna get risky and take the Chiefs. I think they went outright, but I guess the game, if the game ends in one, I still win at the +1.5. But yeah, I hate it, but I'm there. I'm on the Chiefs.
Yeah, this is this is one I might get there with. My 3 plays that I have, I just locked in San Fran. So my 3 plays, Jets, San Fran, and uh, Seahawks are all 1 o'clock slate. So, maybe if I go 3-0, I'll dabble on Kansas City here, but Kansas City is the only way I could look. I guess my fear is I just don't know the public sentiment around Kansas City right now. Obviously, they looked atrocious in week 1. I do think they take a step back this season. But I don't know. If I just don't see how public could hurry up and back Kansas City again this week, especially after what the Eagles just did to them in the Super Bowl. Worthy out. Obviously, Rice still suspended. I don't know. It's just I think Kansas City is the side, but this is another one I could see, Eagles winning by 20 points and thinking like, okay, why did I do that? So, I don't know. I might get there on the Chiefs. We'll see.
I think, yeah. If I was a smarter man, I'd stay away and just watch. But I want to have. It's the only 425 game, so and it should be a great game. So I did take the Chiefs more for entertainment purposes, but I do think it's potentially a sharp play. Then Sunday night matchup, a national championship rematch between these two quarterbacks. We have well, I was going to say some not his last name. We have Michael Penix for the Falcons at the Vikings with JJ McCarthy. The Vikings are a 2.5 to a 3.5 point favorite here. Obviously, the Vikings looked like crap for 3 quarters and then scored 21 points with JJ McCarthy lighting it up. Mean mugging at the end of that Bears game. Now they have their second consecutive primetime game, and they play the Falcons, who should have won last week. Missed should have at least gone to overtime last week. Probably should have won. But still looked okay in my mind. Bijan looked great, and now you're getting the Vikings, what I think is a little over dramatic spread here for a game where they played like absolute crap for a majority of that game. So if you're getting what I'm putting, or if you're picking up what I'm putting down, I am on the Falcons. I got them at +3.5. I think it's too many points. I think this game's close. I think Falcons passing attack is better than the Vikings defense. I know JJ looked great in the fourth quarter. Can he replicate that for all 4 quarters? That's the question. So I'm going to go with the Falcons. Unfortunately, I'm going against my Michigan boy, but I think it's the right play. How about you?
Hey, he won when it mattered most, and now Lions could use him losing. So it's all good in my book. But yeah, I actually kind of love the Falcons in this game. And I haven't bet it yet, and I honestly don't know if I will, but yeah, I mean, again, if the Bears end up playing decent in the second half and win that game, what are we seeing? 1.5 points here. And
Yep.
now you're getting over a field goal with Atlanta, who should have won last week, who I think is going to be, I think they could still win the NFC South. Even though they have the loss to Tampa, which is huge, but I do like the Falcons this year. I'm not crazy on Minnesota. My one fear, though, and I kind of was telling myself this last week, I don't really want to be sitting there in the second half going against Kevin O'Connell because I would probably put him right now as like my third best coach in football. I just think most coaches aren't coming back with JJ McCarthy last week against the Bears, and he was just able to do so. I don't know. I just think he's very underrated. He's been able to win and make Kirk Cousins look, like a Pro Bowl quarterback, which I like Kirk. I think he's good, but clearly he goes to Atlanta, looked horrible. He made turned Sam Darnold into a 14-win quarterback against a very tough division. Like, that was nuts. And now he's working with JJ McCarthy, who I don't think is the most talented quarterback by any stretch of the imagination. And, kept him calm and composed and had the comeback last week. So I don't know. He's not a guy I'd necessarily want to fade. Kevin O'Connell, that is. But I do like the Falcons a lot. And depending on how the games go today, there's a chance I get there.
Yeah, I love it. Seems like we're agreeing eye to eye on most of these, so that is good news as well. I will tweet out my picks just when we get off here, but we do have two games tomorrow. I'm not going to touch on them yet. I'm just going to tell you what the games are. Tampa Bay at Houston, Chargers at the Raiders. I do have a favorite bet of the weekend in tomorrow's game, one of the two games. But we are going to be live tomorrow? Maybe.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll be live tomorrow talking about these two games. So make sure if you do want our Monday night plays to come back to our live tomorrow. What do we do? Six Eastern, somewhere between 6 and 7 Eastern. So make sure you do check that out. But quickly before you get off, you want to give your best bets of the day and anything else before we get off here.
Yeah, I will just say with the doubleheader, that first game does kick off at 7, so
Okay,
it'll
so
probably
6.
be closer
Yeah.
to 6, even maybe 5:45, just to
Yeah.
have enough time there. And then I know you have a play that you really like in Monday night, so don't miss that one. I'm still kind of debating where I'm going on those, but I know you really like that play. And then I guess my bets have locked in. San Francisco money line. I have the Jets +7 and the Seahawks +3. Really like the Jets. That's my favorite play of the day. And I guess some leans that I would give out as potentials. Kansas City and Carolina are probably my two strongest leans. Also, like the Falcons, the Broncos, the Titans, the Giants, Dolphins, if I didn't say them. But yeah, really like the Jets. Think the Seahawks went outright. Think the Niners are a good bet as well. So that's what I'm on for today. And then, follow me on Twitter X at eBambers26 for the official plays. I will tweet all those out. If I do add any more, I'll be sure to tweet them. So if you're interested, follow me over there.
Lovely. Hopefully you have a good day. We need it. My favorite bet is going to be San Fran on the money line. Second favorite, I'll go Seattle as well. And then I'll go Tennessee in there on the spread.
Like
a little sneaky Tennessee. And then touchdown scores. I didn't really talk about it, but Gibbs is going to score 100%. Samson is, yeah. Samson is a decent bet, the running back, in my opinion, for the Browns. Hear me out. You're going to hate it. You're going to think I'm crazy. I sprinkled Travis Hunter.
I don't hate it.
Touchdown.
But I love Travis Hunter under receiving yards on the season. I had that as one of my futures. 6 catches, 33 yards. Beautiful. Just beautiful.
And Ted McMillan to score. I'm going to take Ted every week until he scores a touchdown. But good luck today, guys. Happy Sunday. NFL Week 2 is here. We do, again, 2 games tomorrow. Thank God they finally figured out that we're going to have these games 3 hours apart tomorrow. Remember, I think last year it was like, we're going to start one at 7:45 and then 8:20. Well, great. We have 2 freaking games going on at the same time. Fantastic planning. So, unfortunately, we got a 10 p.m. start in the late game. So, F us if you have work on Tuesday. But at least they figured out to spread those out a little bit. But we appreciate you guys. Good luck this week. Please make sure you like, subscribe, and share over here on YouTube. It's our biggest channel. And until